To begin with, let me just say this. I don't want to judge anyone for their actions here. It is up to them how they handle their lives and their relationships, as we all have to face consequences of our own actions. It's just that even though a lot of time has passed since, I still can't understand their behavior, as it is not exactly logical to me. Perhaps there is something wrong with me. Maybe you guys can explain this to me. This all happened about 17 years ago. I was in college and both me 20 and my friend also 20 along with a group of other students from our school decided to use all 3 months of our summer vacation working a summer job at a beach resort on one of the Greek islands. Both me and my friend were in relationships at the time. I have been with my boyfriend for about a year and she was dating someone for the past 6 months. It looked like they were doing great. We were waitressing at the main restaurant of the hotel, but they had us living at a small sort of guest house in town, about 4 kilometers away from the resort. It was early 2000s, so there were no smartphones yet, no WhatsApp or Skype, so international calls were expensive. In order to call home we had to buy special phone cards and use payphones. Yes, I'm as old as time. Moving on. One such payphone was in the lobby of our guest house. I remember, not even a week into our stay there, I went down to the lobby to call my parents and my friend was there, finishing up a call to her boyfriend who was left at home. I heard her say over and over how much she loves him, how she misses him and wishes he was here with her. Once she hung up, she turned to me and asked if she looks pretty, because she is on her way to meet some bartender guy she met the other night. I was pretty baffled by that, but figured it's her life. Not my place to say anything. Long story short, for the whole 3 months she hooked up with numerous men. It wasn't even that she found one summer crush and dated him the whole time. Pretty much every other night it was some other guy she met at a club or something. And she was not the only one. Many other of the girls who came to work there for the summer hooked up with someone there, usually finding a summer boyfriend while still lying to their boyfriends who stayed home that they love and miss them. It wasn't like they were falling in love with those other guys and dumping their previous men. No. They were planning to continue the relationships after going back home at the end of the summer, like nothing ever happened. After screwing pretty much half of the male population of the island, my friend went back to her unsuspecting boyfriend and actually married the guy some time later. Here's the part that, to me at least, is not logical. Nobody made those girls be in a relationship. If they wanted to explore and experiment, if they had their needs during those 3 months, which is absolutely fine, why would they not stay single and have fun? Or better yet, why wouldn't they just break up with their boyfriends before leaving for the summer if they knew they are open to having relations with other men? I simply don't get the logic behind cheating. I have been with my then boyfriend for a year at the time. I wanted to be with him, I declared my love to him, and that, to me, meant I don't want or need any other guy in my life. Sure, it could happen that along the way you find someone else you feel more attracted to. You fall out of love or you feel like your partner is not fulfilling your needs and you want to look for it elsewhere, but if that is indeed the case and you are not happy with your SO, why wouldn't you just break up with them and go pursue the thing you want more instead of cheating, lying, breaking their trust? Why couldn't my friend just be honest with her boyfriend and tell him, look dude, I like you, but I'm going away for the summer and I want to have fun. Let's take a break, see other people, and if we are both single and willing when I get back maybe we can pick this up where we left off. Wouldn't that be easier and more fair to everyone? The cheater wouldn't have to deal with shame and guilt, they wouldn't have to feel stressed about lying, and the other person avoids being made into a trusting fool and wasting time and effort on someone who doesn't really want to be with them anyway. Am I looking at this wrong? Or perhaps this stress and excitement, fear of getting caught, is the reason people cheat. Any insights? Thanks for watching, subscribe and like. And now next story. Spouse probably cheated on me 25 years ago, does it matter now? About 25 years ago, I was in the military and was on a 2-year assignment a day's drive from where my 38-year-old wife and I lived. We had been married about 20 years at that point. So I only came home on the weekends. After the first year, wife started telling to just stay there and not come home until my assignment finally ended. I refused and continued coming home on the weekends. She started treating me very coldly and not wanting to be intimate on those weekends. Then after another 3 or 4 months, she started randomly accusing of cheating on her and continued being cold towards me. When my remote assignment ended, I was given orders overseas for 3 years. So I started preparing to rent out our house and move my wife and teenage sons. My wife constantly fought with me about it, saying she did not want to go and that I should go by myself. Also during this transition, she was still cold and distant. My kids wanted to go, so she finally agreed to go. Once we got to the new location, she started constantly finding fault with everything with me and the location. So after 6 months there, I received permission to move her and my kids back home at the end of the year. The next 6 months was cordial at best. She was still cold but allowed some intimacy about once a week. As the end of the year drew closer, she became excited about moving back and withdrew from me again. She stayed withdrawn from me for the last month or so. I took 2 weeks leave about a week after she departed with the kids and went back home to help out. After about 3 hours of arriving, she was telling me to just leave and go back to my base. I stayed for about 10 days and returned to my base overseas. I was there for another 2.5 years. I would go home about every 4 months for 10 days and be treated the same way as I was the first time. We would be intimate maybe twice in those 10 days, but I got a feeling she was doing it out of a feeling of obligation rather than desire. Also, she acted as if she wasn't really happy I was there and even stated she would like it better if I did not come back home until my time overseas was finished. For that remaining year and a half, she remained cold and distant when I visited and whenever I would call her to see if all was okay. If I mentioned I had went to a cookout or bowling, she would accuse me of cheating and hang up. She would also constantly tell me everything was my fault and was always in her way of doing what she wanted. After I finally got transferred back, the coldness and distance remained. After 6 months back, I moved out. I stayed gone and even told her that if that is the way she was going to be, I wanted a divorce. So she agreed to marriage counseling. We went, but it was mostly a joke. She blamed her coldness and distance on me not understanding her and what she wanted. So I moved back home and just ignored it from then on. I left the military and got a job that required constant traveling. Now 25 years later, we are both in our 60s and retired. I have a lot of time on my hands now and time for self-reflection. Hindsight is almost always 20/20. Now I question her actions as I look back and analyze them. Various articles I have read from persons who analyze cheating spouses. My wife's actions back then fit the pattern given by other cheaters. Even though I don't have the proof or smoking gun, there was plenty of smoke. Over the years since then, some of her friends and previous co-workers have made snide remarks about her possible cheating during get-togethers while the alcohol flowed. I have mentioned it to her a few times. She never denies what they say but responds questioning their honesty or that they were probably doing themselves. We still have an occasional blowout. A few times I have been so emotionally drained by always being who she lashes out at that I leave for a few hours just to get my composure back. When I come back, I tell her that I will leave if that is what she wants. Then she immediately states that she never cheated on me and has always been faithful. To recap, 25 years ago, my wife exhibited the cheater telltale symptoms listed by many professionals in the marriage counseling field. She pushed her spouse away, became distant, constantly found fault with her spouse, constantly denied cheating even though never accused of it, and constantly accused her remote spouse of cheating. Also, she constantly worked overtime on the weekends at her company even though no one else there did except her boss. This occurred for about 3 years. So now to my question or dilemma. We have been married for 45 years now. I am now questioning our entire marriage years. I can't bury it at the back of my mind anymore. Should I leave this sleeping dog alone? Or should I discuss it all with her and probably tear our marriage apart? Update: a few of her co-workers, also Asian, are still around. They were also her friends. I have to be really careful because they stay in touch on FB. So I knew a couple of the husbands and will possibly try to talk with them. 2 oldest kids were already out of the house. Youngest lived in the video game world and never paid much attention of her comings and goings. But I will talk with them a little. Update: so I tried to reach out to someone and was very careful in what I said. His wife immediately called my wife asking why we were separated and other BS. Glad I did not actually ask my real questions. So this tells me I can't. So we'll just confront her directly and try to get her to believe I actually know something and not just suspicion. Need to get my physical living accommodations set up here in the US first.